Okay, thanks, John. A new move by U.S. Airways is hitting our community awfully hard. The airline is closing its reservation center in Greentree and a baggage service call center in Findlay Township, and that adds up to a loss of more than 800 local jobs. U.S. Airways is offering to relocate those workers to a center in Winston-Salem, but many workers we talked to say they don't want to move. So what happens next? Marketing professor Dr. Audra Guskey of Duquesne University joins us this morning with some insight. Welcome once again, a regular here on Pittsburgh Today Live. First of all, how much of a blow is this to the community as a whole?
This is a huge blow. Steelers lose in the playoff games.
Exactly.
And then a couple days later, we lose a huge amount of people, their jobs from U.S. Air. You know, it's really sad, Kelly, because when you think about it, U.S. Air used to be Allegheny Airlines. It started here. I mean, the basis was here. Their foundation was here. And at one point, they had 13,000 jobs. Now we're down to 6, getting close to 5. It's a huge, huge blow economically for the community. And I don't think they can do anything to really rectify it. It's a bad situation overall.
The options are early buyout, severance package, or move to Winston-Salem.
Right.
In your eyes, knowing what you know and being an expert economist, what would you say these folks should do?
Well, it depends. Of course, it depends on everyone's situation. Typically, about 10% of the people move, and so we're going to have a small number of people relocating. And I would probably recommend, if they possibly could, to stay in the area. Some people can take the early severance. That's probably a good thing. Fortunately for them, there's going to be training opportunities offered by U.S. Airways as well as by the community. And so hopefully that will help them in some ways. But the job market here in the Pittsburgh area is tight to begin with.
Right.
So to try to put 800 people into the job market, people who are trained for call centers, as we all know, what's ending up happening with call centers is they're being outsourced to India and various places. And so their training is really a difficult job to have when you're in this market.
And it was kind of nice, just as someone who flies U.S. Airways, to know that when you're calling, you're making your reservations. A lot of times you're talking to Pittsburghers.
Exactly. It was neat when you would make reservations.
They sounded like you know?
And they'd be like, go Steelers, and you can ask them what neighborhood they lived in. And
or they were like, hey, I know where you live. I have a friend who lives, do you know so-and-so? I mean, that was a nice thing about calling U.S. Airways.
It was.
But certainly times have changed, and we are hearing that they're all being promised job training in other fields. How important is that for these people to get other training? And how many people do you think will really take advantage of that?
Probably the majority. I would say 500 to 600 people will probably do that, and that's a good thing. They're very well trained in what they do in call centers. The majority of people have been there 20 years plus, and so they are very good at their particular skills. So hopefully the people skills, the interaction skills will transfer. You know, when you wonder, like, why did they move from the Pittsburgh area? And, you know, you look at the Charlotte area, which is growing and expanding, unfortunately, and I think that probably was their main impetus, the notion that there's more growth and opportunity.
I know, but our people are the best.
We are the best, the friendliest, and you know, it's just a sad situation.
You really feel for these people because they've worked many, many years for that company, so we'll be thinking about them, that's for sure. We want to thank you, Dr. Audra Guskey from Duquesne University. Always expert insight from you. Thanks so much. Just ahead, boats, more boats at the Pittsburgh